Brother John, if you take a pause and maybe drink a glass of water, probably will help you. You just came back from the gym.
MashaAllah, brother. Great study. I really like the last thing you said about ego, you know, kill your ego now or it will be killed like in uh, in um, in hell. Because there you won't have an ego, right? You can't have an ego.
MashaAllah, yes. I also like the part that he mentioned about spreading doubts because as he said it, I just wrote a sentence about someone spreading doubts, and I was proofreading it, and then I
Where?
was talking about people spreading doubts.
I can guess.
Yeah. So yeah, I will share in chat the English version of what I wrote, so you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I came in a little bit late. Uh, from which verse did we start, brother? 88:11. Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you.
Hmm. Hmm. Right. Yeah, exactly. It really it's kind of like a as a warning sign for us to just, continue to strengthen ourselves in submission, like before the smoke comes, like we want to pass our admission test, we want to do all the things that we want to do for striving before the victory. I mean, all these aspects, I mean, this is clearly there for a reason. So I mean, people doing that, and the part that I think is funny is that they have no understanding of the math even, so like I'm seeing messages and
Like
I'm
they
like,
think it's numerology, you know? Like
yeah, it's like
compared
he
to that,
doesn't
so
know.
strange.
Yeah, like I mean, just saw the last comments about just having probability of having numbers that are multiples of 19. It's like there can be any numbers, and what is the probability of 13 numbers that are multiples of 19? I mean, it's, yeah, I mean, it would make sense. And they're asking ChatGPT, like what is the probability of having numbers that are 13 numbers that are multiples of 19? I mean, like he's trying to use them. Yeah, exactly. You can say that about, exactly. They no one. Understand. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, I think there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are coming into submission that are just looking at the fact, that okay, well, this person um, talked about Quran alone, and they know some facts about 19, but they don't truly appreciate the mathematical miracle, and that's not something that clearly is the reason they are into submission. And people, I noticed that people who don't go through the miracle, they always have doubts, right? They don't understand, people who don't understand miracle, because God says He's it's there to strengthen the faith of the faithful, as God says literally, mashallah, as you said, you
MashaAllah.
know. So if someone doesn't understand it, he's not going to reach certainty. He's going to be doubtful. His doubts are going to overtake, right?
you need to know to appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't
Right,
know, how
right,
can you appreciate? The messenger,
right.
he says exactly the same thing. He says, yeah, they don't even investigate, they don't even know about
Mm-hmm.
it, so they
Mm-hmm.
can't,
Exactly.
they
Mm-hmm.
cannot appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. It's exactly like the people, who said that, for they're stuck at Bismillah and saying no, Bismillah Rahman Rahim doesn't have 19 letters. Like that's the level of ignorance I'm witnessing, unfortunately.
Mashallah, brother. And there's simple facts, like the simple facts can make you appreciate it. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you're really sincere, like the
Mm-hmm.
simple facts are there, and even that is just, if you're really sincere, you could appreciate
Mm-hmm.
the miracle and how awesome it is. Like how some words have a missing word just so it could add up to that multiple,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
to the multiple of 19 is just,
Mm-hmm.
like there's very simple facts there, that you could
Mm-hmm.
really appreciate the miracle. And you
Mm-hmm.
could know for certain that it's from God, that it's not from you.
Mm-hmm. Subhanallah. And so thank God for all the signs that, mashallah, God allowed you guys to bring, because, it helped me so much, even, get even more assurity, like I'm not the only one who can see this. And mashallah, all of us, have been able to see it. We're all able to appreciate it. But obviously, there's always going to be people like that, right? I mean, God's system, you know, we
It
don't like
happens
to see.
suddenly.
Yeah.
It happens suddenly, like out of nowhere, and then like suddenly people say things, and then it
Hmm.
happens, and then some people leave, some people stay, like, but
Hmm.
it's like almost suddenly.
Hmm. Yeah, but I mean, all of this is in accordance with God's will, So we should, submit cheerfully to this, these types of um, situations. I mean, it does make me sad, because in the sense that, sad for them also, but it does make me sad in the sense that I knew both of them personally. Like I've met them twice, and I thought that they were nice people. But obviously, from what I'm witnessing now, uh, only thing I can see is that God says that people who are hypocrites, they are the ones who do not understand the Quran's mathematical miracle. And God says in Surah 74, they will say, "What did God mean by this allegory?" Like they don't get it. People who don't get the Quran's mathematical code. I mean, it's you don't have to be like a math genius to understand what is a multiple of 19. And what is the probability of a number being a multiple, of course. um you
Mashallah.
know so I mean, that's why they teach you in kindergarten, or yeah, in kindergarten, how to multiply, or in the first grade, you know uh, so that's all you need to understand, to multiply and add things. And not being able to understand, like, these are not just random numbers, these are numbers that are connected to this. So why are you trying to find probability from ChatGPT that the probability of any numbers, no, we're talking about probability of numbers that are connected to smoke. What is the probability of all these things being multiples? That's the probability that it should really want to check. Like, you have 5 6 numbers to work with, and what is the probability of them adding up from this angle and this angle and this angle? Unfortunately, I mean, these people are blocked. I mean, that's the conclusion I come to. I mean, mm-hmm,
Right.
mm-hmm, everything. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, yeah, mm-hmm, Hmm. Oh, oh, your audio is missing? Oh, oh. Yeah, yeah, it wasn't meant to be. Mm. Yeah. Yeah, you know what I do for that is I just yeah, but you know what you can do is don't use your odd but if when I guess it can be tricky when you're doing the video broadcast also, right? But if you were not doing video broadcast, then you could just mute your microphone on the computer and just use your phone to talk.
Uh-huh.
But you can still probably do that, just but then your video and audio may not be synced.
Right. I think I did
Yeah.
that one time, and when I was in Houston, I think
Mm-hmm.
today it worked okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was interesting too. That they're gonna believe, future predictions or future, uh, what the future holds if NASA tells them.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to the Quran's mathematical miracle and then the overwhelming signs and then all the other things and the mathematics behind
Mm-hmm.
the smoke, they're gonna argue against it. It's like kind of like they don't
Mm-hmm.
want they disbelieve entirely in the entire. Like they're waiting, like the Quran says, like they're waiting. They're gonna have doubts until the
Mm-hmm.
retribution comes. Like I shared the verse: Are they waiting
Mm-hmm.
for all prophecies to be fulfilled? Are they waiting for it's gonna come to them
Mm-hmm.
suddenly? You
Mm-hmm.
know, are they waiting
And
for
God says,
to the sky? You know,
when they see masses from the falling from
yeah,
the sky, they will
yeah,
kill fire
exactly,
clouds.
yeah,
I mean, mashallah, you see these videos, on YouTube, and like this person supposedly a scientist, and like what he's saying is like basically joking, you know. Like he's not even like he's just saying like it's very weird to be honest. And like you want to believe those people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you said too, brother. Like in WhatsApp, you were saying how like what they expect, like they expect us just to be blind, and just ignore these signs.
Mm-hmm.
Like God, in the Quran teaches us the opposite. The Quran teaches us like to explore things and to and and to explore the miracle too. Like the Messenger of the Covenant has explained. To study the miracle. And we know like when he was studying, he was bringing this information. There was people around him with him that were also bringing information. And like and and that was like what they were doing. And what we are doing now is exactly the same. We haven't used no different formula. It's the same formula that he used. All your findings in the website is it's the same formula.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see how it's wrong and how a
Mm-hmm.
fellow brother could say something so evil and so harsh to somebody just out the blue like that. If it's not like it's not true at all what he's saying, and what we are doing is it's not that. You know, all we are doing is just trying our best, to submit to God, and this is actually good. This should strengthen
Mm-hmm.
the hearts of the believers, and make us happy. And like Brother John has said many times, like um, that the messenger brought the truth,
Exactly, yeah.
and it's awesome,
That's exactly
mashallah.
what I was thinking, that this really confirms to us that, I mean, God's promise is the truth, the messenger is the truth. I mean, he said the smoke is going to come, he said the victory is going to come. This is what his promise was all along, and this is how we can finally see it materializing in terms of the victory, especially, So it
Alhamdulillah.
all makes sense, it all adds up.
Mhm.
Yeah. And on top of that, like, say we are wrong for the sake of argument, right? And so what makes this an innovation? Like, okay, we're talking about the same event that the messenger of the covenant has said is going to come to pass at a certain time. Even if it doesn't come to pass at that time, and we think that something's going to happen at a certain time and it doesn't, how does that make it an innovation in religion? How does that make it a lie attributed to God? Like, this is ridiculous.
I mean,
To
if
try and
Yeah,
keep
anything,
that's
it
sensationalizing
actually
exactly
it.
what
it
we're
actually
saying today.
shows we
Mhm,
have more faith than
mhm,
these hypocrites, Abdullah and
mhm,
Akhte, because
mhm,
we actually have faith, and we're like, look, I mean, we believe in the smoke, and we're not looking
mhm,
forward to it, of course, but we're seeing the signs and we're
mhm,
seeing the evidence. They're just doubters.
mhm,
If
mhm,
anything, all this for us, like, what you just said. I mean, it shows that like we're we have belief in these things, and we believe in the mathematical miracle in of itself, which is why we believe in this.
mhm.
They doubt the
Yeah.
mathematical miracle, so
Inshallah.
that's what
Mhm,
it shows.
mhm. Yeah, exactly. And now the things that are being said, like you said, I mean, you're not just saying it about the numbers for Apophis. You're speaking for everything that the messenger has brought. As far as the Quran's mathematical miracle, like, you're trying to ask ChatGPT for these probabilities of numbers. I mean, you can say the same about everything the messenger has brought, and what that is saying is nothing new than what other people have said. They said this is magic, right? You're just tricks of numbers. They're just playing with numbers. So yeah, I mean, they're just hurting themselves. So honestly, I mean, that's all there is to it. And they'll have no excuse in the future. So with God, for doing this, obviously, I think it's one thing to believe that something's going to happen at a certain time and it doesn't. But if something's going to happen at a certain time and you're mocking it and you're trying to disprove it and it's really proofs from God, um, I mean, I see that as a serious offense. Imagine, like, God is showing signs, and then you're just like mocking them, and it's the same as other people who are disbelieving, right? When you're coming up with sneaky things like that. But of course, I mean, if I mean, innovation for me would be something that people are adding to the religion, like laws you're adding to the religion. Yeah, I can say that as an innovation. But the innovation here is coming from them in the sense of what they're saying, because their premise is that God cannot inform the believers with of anything, any inspiration of an event in the future, unless it's a messenger specifically sent by God, right? Which has no basis in the Quran. Mashallah. I mean, Brother Salim shared the verse about the three ways in which God communicates with us. There's other verses I shared, and there was no rebuttal to that. And without any proof, they're sticking to their guns and insisting on the idea that no, it has to be from a messenger. And even though we understand that the small prophecy was given to Dr. Rashad Khalifa, he was a
Mashallah.
messenger. He didn't have to know every detail of, like, exactly when and stuff if it's not relevant to his time. He's not. God did not will that the time was to be revealed at that time, right? But it nevertheless, the prophecy was given to the messenger. So by that definition, he chose the messenger to tell about the prophecy. Just the date itself, to me, that's not very significant, right? I mean, just to know the date of something, to know that something's going to happen is the main thing to me, you know? But they've just made a big deal and just dug themselves a hole, unfortunately. That's why God says, He wants people to be guided. He wants people to be on the right path. The human being insists upon going to hell.
Yeah, I mean, imagine like actively looking for reasons to disbelieve in the smoke,
Mm-hmm.
actively
Mm-hmm.
looking for reasons to undermine what they were doing,
Mm-hmm.
the 19
Mm-hmm.
based mathematical
Mm-hmm.
miracle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, imagine doing these things and not even realizing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
obviously, their ego is too big. They're not gonna
Mm-hmm.
repent. I mean, even if they were to repent, I mean, like the Quran says, we no longer trust you. You know what I mean? You're
Mm-hmm.
proven
Yeah.
hypocrite. So, I mean, if I don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, that's really bad what they're doing with the miracle in the 19. Because they
Mm-hmm.
might as well do that to, they literally should do that to the whole Quran mathematical miracle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. They're applying that same thing to the Quran's miracle, but because
Mm-hmm.
that's what this is, it's mathematical proofs and tied to the prophecy of the Quran, and so they're
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even the messengers geometrical values and this
Mm-hmm.
information,
Yeah.
the surahs, and
Yeah. It's
they're
all.
making
Yeah.
undermining and
It's all.
making fun of
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
Quran's verses. They're
Yeah.
in the
All
messengers
connected to the
12:30.
messenger. Yeah.
You know, dude, literally they should do that with Surah 72 verse 27 because 12:30 is in there. Rashad's values, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean they ought to
Mm-hmm.
do that with Surah 44. I mean that's literally what they're
Mm-hmm.
doing. You know, they're
Yeah.
you know, I mean, they're actively saying that they're just as sure about the future. How can they say the same thing with us? They're telling us no, it's not going to hit.
Mm-hmm.
They know the
Yeah.
future. Like that's what
Yeah.
they're saying. They're
Exactly.
like, I know the
Taken.
future. NASA told me the future. So
Yeah.
NASA, these Luciferianisms, or I don't know if I'm not saying they're still like that, but an
Mm-hmm.
unrighteously founded organization. They're gonna. That's their messengers they've chosen. Because they're
Mm-hmm.
telling them they're believing their future, and they're actively saying, no, well, the future is
Mm-hmm.
not going to hit. I mean, that
Mm-hmm.
makes them hypocritically
Yeah.
guilty of what they're trying to accuse us of.
Yeah. I mean, in reality, NASA is just a government agency. There are people, just regular people, working there, and they are working on sciences. Very smart people working there, right? But the thing is, and people who are not smart also. But the thing is that they're not. I mean, they are still bound by the government. They can't say things if the president, let's say, or the establishment at the time doesn't want them to disclose certain information. No matter how genius they are, they can't do it. If they do it, they go to jail. They get their careers, destroyed. I mean, they could be killed. So many things can happen, and obviously you have to keep that into account if you want to be just. It's one thing if you're an astronomer yourself, and you say, I have looked at the calculations, no, it's not going to hit. We can talk about it. Like, still, we can talk about it. But he hasn't even seen anything. He has
Dude, yeah, he's
zero
literally
knowledge
just
of
going
physics.
off of word of mouth, like with
Yeah.
no proof. Like it's literally
Mm-hmm.
if Susan Ray tells you this is something, like okay, I
Mm-hmm.
believe it. Like, do you even
Mm-hmm.
know these people? Like, do you not? Have you
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know we talked about this before, but
Yeah.
I mean, even being from another country shouldn't really be an excuse of like not
No, no, it's
learning
not an excuse because
from history, because like even the history of all these countries, I mean, how much uh, keeping stuff, hidden from the public. I mean,
yeah.
it was taking place since day one. I mean, going
Mm-hmm.
back to the Rome, the Byzantine. I mean, it's still taking place
Mm-hmm.
today. So for them to just wishful think, wishful thinking,
Mm-hmm.
gets them
Yeah, I mean,
lying to
being from
themselves.
other countries is not an excuse, you know. We're living in an age of internet, you know, the world is like a global village, you know. I mean, we all have access to internet, we all are able to talk to each other, no matter where in the world we are, you know. So that's definitely not an excuse. And there's really no excuse.
Yeah.
I mean, also I think, you know, COVID was a good education, um, uh, education experience for all of us to understand, like, when the government lies to you, when the government is trying to tell you the truth, you know, like you have, and circumcision, you know, we have the CDC, again, a government agency telling you that it's prevents AIDS and all that, and it's better for you. So I might as well do circumcision too, because CDC is not gonna lie to you, just like NASA is not gonna lie to you. You know, I mean, like, he's saying no. It's like the same thing as the distance of the Earth and the Sun, and scientists are not lying. I mean, without even seeing any of it. I mean, like,
I mean, dude. I mean, not to get. I mean, well, but yeah. I mean, these organizations are. I mean,
yeah,
we
these
know who they're
organizations
run
are,
by, who they're controlled by, their
yeah,
vested
mm-hmm,
interests, and I mean, their, you know,
mm-hmm,
goals of the
yeah,
population. So I mean, just
mm-hmm,
to, and I mean,
mm-hmm,
this is like people. A lot more people, like you said, are, uh, being informed about this, and just to,
mm-hmm,
be like an ostrich and bury your
yeah.
head in the
I mean,
sand is not going to save you. Like
mm-hmm,
if you
mm-hmm,
choose to like, oh no,
yeah,
they'll never lie to me. Satan
mm-hmm,
won't lie to me. Satan's advocates won't lie to me. They're going to tell me the truth. I'm going to believe them.
mm-hmm. Imagine how the smoke is even gonna hit, possibly hit, if you're thinking that NASA is gonna tell you the smoke is coming.
Right.
You know, because they're gonna deflect it, right? They've already successfully done it before, and he knows about it. They know about it. This was a mission they tried it on, and to deflect an asteroid. It wasn't coming to Earth, I believe, but they deflected it successfully. So they have the technology to deflect it. If NASA wants to knowingly deflect an asteroid, the smoke is never going to happen, right? By the way that they're thinking, the smoke is never going to happen. And they're telling people it's never going to happen. They're telling people it's not going to happen in 100 years,
Right.
you
Yeah. So
know?
he might.
And like,
Right.
yeah, but they're talking about it's not going to happen in 100 years based on what they know. Yeah, based on what they know, obviously, not based on what they don't know. But you believe them based on their science, right? So, it's complete lunacy.
Yeah. Mashallah, God's running everything. So.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean, also, I think it's a way, like, I mean, I think we've said that before. It's nothing new to be added here, but the people who are mocking these proofs or the dates, kind of like the same as when Noah was building the ark. I mean, and these people were laughing, you know. So you may be laughing at us now, but we're laughing at you just as you're laughing. Imagine these people, you know, being unprepared when the smoke happens, right? It's just gonna catch them by surprise. If NASA told the people, foretold them the smoke, so they believe NASA can foretell the smoke, but a submitter who has direct contact with God, with his contact prayers, and, you know, daily meditation or whatever, you know, like, I'm not, I'll talk about myself, I'm talking about believers in general, right? Cannot know something from God, but NASA can tell you. So if NASA tells them, because NASA has the science, so NASA In other words, NASA doesn't know that it's going to happen, but when it's going to happen, NASA's going to know and tell them. And then they're going to believe NASA. So NASA, God can tell NASA, but, and they believe. God communicates through NASA.
Yeah, and like I'm saying, brother, you know that it's it's like, you know, it's just we're using the same, like,
Mm-hmm.
remember that text I sent you guys? Like,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Yeah.
I'm not if it's like a good example, but like if the messenger was alive at, you know, like what would he, like, which side would he take?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
Also, yeah.
like just to use your logic. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like would he, like, of course, because that's what we're doing. You know, we're using the same formula.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like we're not bringing up. It's nothing new. It all came from the messenger
Yeah.
of the covenant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like I
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
see like what they're saying or
subhanAllah.
thinking.
Mashallah. Right.
Yeah. Also think about think about how on earth you're going to annihilate the Arabs. If NASA is going to tell people the smoke is coming and it's going to hit the Middle East, right? All the Arabs are going to go to the U.S. or Europe or so many other countries or somewhere in the middle of an island somewhere. You know, they're not going to be annihilated. None of them is going to be annihilated. They have so much money to travel. Anybody can get an airplane ticket and go somewhere. You know, for that one day. You know, it's really absurd. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, it's not that far. So you know, it's only a few years. So we'll find out. You know, they'll find out too.
Assalamu alaikum, brother Khalid.
So, are there any other comments or questions from anyone about the verses? You should probably talk about the verses more before we, I guess, conclude.
Kali left right after
Huh?
Brother Johnson's. I said, Brother Kali left.
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh, he said I have to go now.
Yeah, he
Oh,
left.
okay, that's why he said salam. I didn't say salam alaikum.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just thought Brother John said it, you know, like randomly.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see the text message.
Yeah, so I guess if there's nothing to add to this, the comments about the study, maybe we can stop the broadcast um, and just have a conversation after that with the Jaffer.
Inshallah.
Yeah, brother, that would be great.
Yeah.